Hey, we're live with Brock here at my workbench, aka the kitchen table, and gonna do some painting tonight just for fun. I'm gonna wait until a few of you hop on here. For those of you that have been following this little project, Silver Surfer is looking mighty fine with that Molotov liquid chrome. And then I tried this. See that board right there? It's not the original one. That's the, I used this thing called Spastics. And I put it on here. I haven't rubbed it off yet. You're supposed to use a cotton cloth, but I'm not ready to do that yet. I'm letting that dry. I like the color, but it's definitely not as glossy as this Molotov liquid chrome. Hey, what's up, fellas? Let me see who we got in here. Beach. I almost called you a bad word, homie. English is my second language. Beach Bro, Jacob, Momo, and a few other. This is Monday night. Is there Monday night football happening yet? I don't even know what time it is. 8 o'clock. Please don't mind the chewing. So let me get to what we're gonna paint in here today. I don't want to waste y'all's time and mine. What's up, Raymond? If I miss you guys in the comments, I'll come back to it. So there's a little story behind this guy. As you can see, he is extremely off-colored because, and I'm not gonna say this person's name because I'm not trying to trash talk, but he failed to tell me that he smoked. And you see right there, fellas, this is why you should not smoke. That coloring right there is what's going into your lungs when you smoke. And it's discolored this guy. And I wanted an Iceman for my shelf. And I figured now, let me see if this smells still. It was a pretty strong smoke smell. So I'm gonna take this guy apart. I gotta be very careful because this plastic's extremely soft. And let me prep my workbench area here. I was just doing that for photographs. I'm gonna use a clear blue. I only have one clear blue. Where did it go? Son of a biscuit. It's not that one. It's not gonna be that one. I've lost the paint that I need to use. Here we go, transparent blue. It's really dark. But so I'm gonna give this I'm gonna give it a base color in this, let it dry, and then I'm gonna start painting over it in white and then start making decisions. I'm not sure if this is definitely not gonna get finished today. I'm just gonna get started on it today. And then start doing some highlights, etc. Make it look like ice. We're going to test it out there. But first, let me get this figure taken apart. I saw some questions coming in. I'm going to answer them right now because this is, I hope this is a tutorial. And some of you guys that are thinking about doing customizing, this will at least give you an idea of, at least seeing someone else do it is helpful. Let's see. What's up, Raymond? Keeney, what's going on? Mr. Coots. Thanks, Mr. Coots. I appreciate it. What's up, Jose? And what happened to the question? I lost it. All right, so let me just take them apart. Let me use a pencil. I want to get one of those NECA stands. So that should give me a good angle to paint. And what you're going to see is that this face sculpt is pretty nice. If you follow 112 Shooter, he's got a custom head that Craig Warwick did. And I think all that Craig Warwick did, I'm going to see once the sculpt starts coming out, I think all he did was rework the hair and of course put his artistic bent to it and paint it up, and it looks pretty awesome. But you're going to see that this face it's a pretty nice looking face. So I'm going to put this aside. I think the hands, look at that. That's so disgusting. Super disgusting. It grosses me out, to be honest. All right, so it looks like I'm going to have to. Oh, not with that one. I'm gonna apply some heat. This was notoriously known for. Oh man, it's just being really soft plastic. See, you can just. It has very soft plastic, and typically you would need to heat that up, but not with this figure. Now I think I'm just gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep those on there because I don't want to take a chance of breaking it, but I do want to take that arm apart. I'll definitely take this apart, take this off, and we'll start painting it individually. I haven't done any joint prep on this. This is just I want to mess around. It's kind of a throwaway figure, and it still has that strong smoke smell. This figure had trouble standing up, so I'll be applying a lot of future to it, the pledge stuff to help it stiffen the joints. So that should, I mean, this plastic's super soft. Boom. Should I take this apart? Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna take that apart too. I'll get to your questions in a second. Now, if I end up liking the results on this figure, I'll work backwards, and if I have to do some joint prep, I will. I'll just, I mean, but it's essentially gonna be a similar color, that clear plastic color. Let's see, Gummy Iceman. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give him a frosted look, Aaron. I really don't have an idea what this is gonna come out, so you guys are just gonna see me messing around. This may be terrible. It may end up being terrible, but it's gonna look better than what its current state is in. You guys haven't seen this. What you want to do is just slowly twist and pull, and it will come out. You've never done that before. You want to heat up this part, not that part. This is softer plastic, so I guess it didn't really matter. But some of the other ones, you can take the chance. If you heat this, you'll deform it and maybe even break it. I've broken that before, and then that will present another problem. Another problem I'm going to have tonight. Let me set the workspace. Problem is, all my little alligator clips are being currently used, so I won't have anything to put this on. By the way, let me just show you one more thing before I start. That head is looking phenomenal, man. That's the bullseye head. Let me bring this out to you. You guys can see it. I filled in the tooth, and that's gonna be Angry Silver Surfer. And I love faces like that, man. That whoever did the sculpt on that is a master. All right, why don't we start with the head? And before I get going, let me just make sure I haven't missed anybody here in the chat. How's the video? How's the video right here? So, you guys are making some comments about taking smoke out of the figure. I've tried to take smoke out of figure. I've put it in like sun in a bag with dryer sheets for a couple weeks. I did that to a figure I got that came pretty smoky figure. Oh, I just couldn't do it, guys. Okay, so it's coming in at 720. Thank you. I've been thinking about doing the Omega Red tendrils too. All right, so with any paint, you want to make sure you're shaking it up. Especially, I haven't used this one in quite a while. My dog's freaking out. I'm not going to cut this with anything. I'm just going to use the straight paint. And I don't know how dark this is going to go on, but it's okay, because what that will do, it'll give me, it'll almost give me like a wash on the figure, and I'm going to let it dry and then work my way back up. All right, so I'm going to choose this one. Let's see what happens. Look at that, it's all yellowy. For those of you that smoke right here, I'm not trying to clown you guys. I know there's, let me see, is he in? Yeah, I see at least one of you in here smokes like a chimney. We've talked about it before. But it just, for those of us that don't smoke, I'm really susceptible to the smell. So this is going to dry clearer than it is, because it is pretty dark right there. Saw that, Curtis. So this brush actually belonged to one of my children. It was a makeup brush that no longer met her standards for applying makeup. And I've repurposed it as my paintbrush. Now I'm trying to go in one direction as I'm painting here. And I think initially I started with like too much paint. I noticed that, there you go. I started with too much paint on the brush, and you gotta really be careful, because if anything, you wanna start light and build up the coats. And I tend, since I don't paint very often, it's not something that I'm very strong at. This is not a skill that I would say that I've passed the beginner stage. I feel like I'm still a beginner painter but one of the things that I have learned from other people that do know how to paint, and just experiences myself while painting, that it's better to start with light coats, light paint, and then work the layers up. Check that out. It's a really nice looking sculpt. You can't really, it's hard to appreciate the sculpt in its original because of it's just so light. What's up, Mr. IE Hunter? You're gonna hear me repeating myself. I apologize if I'm not catching you, but I'm trying to do two things here. Actually, a couple, more than two things. Hang out in this medium we call YouTube. And then try to show you guys some tips or some lessons or anything for you guys to pass the time so you can learn and instruct. And then third, actually doing the custom, or the custom paint job in this case. I find myself, when I do well, is I take my time. I find that when I don't take my time in doing some of these things, it works against me and it doesn't come out looking good. So I'm just trying to give this guy a top coat of this blue. What I typically would have done is I would have primed the figure, but in this case I didn't want to prime it because I wanted to have the, is evanescence the right word to use here? I wanted to have the evanescence feel to it, you know, that you can still see through it, that it's almost like a transparent, but not really transparent. You guys that have access to an online dictionary, Let me know if I used Evanescence right. Isn't there a music group called Evanescence? So the tip parts right now are becoming a little bit uncomfortable holding my brush, and this is where you can see some of my that I'm a novice at. I just don't, I can't find a comfortable spot to hold this, so I'm gonna try a different angle. Again, trying to give it light coats, and I'm trying to paint in one direction. And then if I choose to give it a second coat, which I may, I'll try to paint it in the opposite direction. That way it gives the paint an opportunity to cover. Look at that, man. That's a nice looking sculpt. And that's where you can see, I think that that's exactly what Craig Work used. Although there, you can see that there's angles on the face there. You see that in the light, how it's hitting it right there in the cheek? I wonder if he rounded those off. Go check out 112 Shooter's page. He's got a picture of the Fantastic Four. It's a really nice like a portrait shot. I think I'm gonna leave the eyes as is right there. I'm not gonna touch the eyeballs. And you can compare it to this guy, because I have a feeling it's a reworked Johnny Storm head. Excuse me, Iceman head for Johnny Storm. Yeah, and I'm digging this color too. I may, I may just leave it at this color. I'm gonna have to think on that. But it's still transparent. You see that? Transparent blue. All right. Let's do some feet. But before I do some feet, let me see if I had any questions here. I'm gonna work my way back up the chat and work my way down. All right, let me see. Smoker Smoke. I usually use Gorilla Glue Gel. I just bought some of that. What do you, Mr. Coots, what do you use that for? That's right, Brockonomics. Got to save this figure. What's up, Grandmaster Popo? IE Hunter, I'd like to see you try to do one of these, man. Pick a figure and do a paint job. You know, I was thinking the other day that the first figure that I actually tried to do something myself, and there's a story behind it, and I think I've told it before. This is where it's going to get interesting. That I don't have the... Oh, wait. Yeah, never mind. The first figure was that Boomerang figure. Marvel Legends. It's an ugly figure. I didn't like the head sculpt on it, but I tried weathering it. And it actually came out pretty good. And then I traded it off, I traded it off. But that was the first one that I recall ever doing anything to, and it was just, all I did was a little bit of dry brushing. And you may see me do some dry brushing tonight. Now I already see an issue that I'm having is that the paint's starting to dry over there. And I really don't want to use anything to cut the paint with or to thin the paint with. I usually would use some Pledge Floor Shine, but I really can't remember if that would affect this transparent paint. So I don't want to chance it. So it's drying out a bit. I guess I gotta paint the the bottom part of his feet too. So the reason I started painting, here's the story. I had to catch my thoughts. It's that my mom is a very naturally talented artist. Like, really talented. She can paint with oil, self-taught, pretty much self-taught. So when I first started collecting, I started collecting Transformers, and I wanted her to, you know, spruce up my Transformers. This big old nerd asking his mommy to paint the figures, but she didn't. I researched everything, and as I mentioned, I'm gonna have to leave him like Achilles right there. I researched everything. I wanted to use the better paints. I didn't want to use the cheap paints that I read would chip. And guess what type of the paints? The paints that they were saying don't use are the paints that my mom was used to using. You know, from the Michaels, the folk art stuff, and other brands like that. And I was like, come on. So I bought her some paint, but she didn't like using the paint because, well, first of all, it wasn't a passion project for her. It was just out of love for me that she was painting some of my figures. I'll bring those out one of these days. I got them in one of my detolfs right now. And she just didn't like the fact they were so thin because she had to do multiple layers to cover, and she wanted and she wanted to get that over with, boy. After this foot's over, I'll run through the chat. So one day I was over at my parents' house, and you guys have seen them in when I used to do the hunt videos. You guys have seen mostly my dad in those videos. But I was over there, and one day I just happened to have that figure, and I said, I'm just gonna try it. And she taught me how to dry brush. And I go, man, this isn't that hard. So I dry brushed the heck out of that boomerang figure. Is that what his name is called? I think that's what it is. Marvel Legend Boomerang. Let me see what you guys have been saying here. Let's see what we got here. I'm that fat that I calls me the whole chat? What? Bruna Scalan. Obrigado. That's the extent of my Portuguese right there. Muito obrigado. The only reason I know some vocab words in Portuguese is because I'm a fan of MMA, and Vanderlei Silva is one of the guys that I started watching initially. Hey, what's up, Cheese King 2? I have tried some custom cloth goods. Go check out. I did a custom Yoda from a what was it? A Rocket Raccoon, a Marvel Legends Rocket Raccoon. You're gonna have to go way back in the videos. Yeah, I think it was from this summer. And I've done some soft goods. What's up, Kairos? It's all it is transparent blue from Vallejo. Oh, Bruna, so if you're trying to paint those purple hands, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to put a primer down first. But the transparent ones, huh? You wanna paint those up? You should keep those. for an effect. Matter of fact, I could use those hands. Thinking about buying Wonder Man because I'm going to be customizing a Magneto here pretty soon. So, yeah. All right, let me see where we're at here. Urivana, what's going on? Darth Goody, what's going on? Just messing around with this Iceman that I got in a trade, and it came from a smoker's home. So it yellowed the figure pretty bad. Like, you take a look at these hands. It's pretty nasty, and I couldn't get the smoke really completely out. So I'm painting it, and I'm hoping that the paint and the cleaning job that I try to do on it will help salvage this figure for me. And by the way, those of you that smoke, again, not talking trash, you can do with your body whatever you want. You want to inhale those death fumes, go ahead. By all means, kill yourself, but just kidding. Don't kill yourself. But do the person you're trading a favor and say, hey, but by the way, I smoke, playa. Serious, you're from Brazil too? All right, man, we got some Brazilians in the house. Obrigado. I think that means hello. Hopefully it's not like, go F yourself or something like that. That'd be terrible. Plastics in the house. What is up, playa? Who else is up in here? Another George is in the house. George, so the hunt videos, I had a good time doing those hunt videos because usually it was with one of my daughters on our dates, and I really enjoyed them. But I found myself spending a lot of money, and then I came up with Brockonomics. Go back and watch some of the Brockonomics videos. I think those were some of my more comedic ones. And they frankly take a lot of time to edit. And I actually enjoyed that process too. I feel like I was improving on my editing skills, making it interesting for the people that were going to watch it. And then, of course, ultimately I wanted my family to find them interesting. I started doing YouTube because my children actually encouraged me to do it. They go, "Oh, Daddy, they thought I'd be a good YouTuber. Or a fun YouTuber or whatever." And a few thousand people have thought so far. Thank you for those of you that are subscribed to my channel. But hunt videos, they just take a lot of time, and I was able to do a lot of hunt videos when I was laid up due to surgery this past summer. And actually, when I started doing that, I started gaining a lot more subscribers when I was able to put out more videos. But recently, first of all, I've been really just trying to watch what I spent, what I'm spending, I should say. See, the paint was too dry here. You see how it just, the brush, you could see the brush strokes even in this clear paint. It wasn't a very good job. And I should have stopped talking and focusing on getting this paint to where it should have been, but I missed out. But hey, this is a tutorial anyway, so learn from my mistake. So that's essentially why I stopped doing them. Time-wise too, I'm busy with work and working a lot of weekends. So a lot of the times that I do have free are just times like this. I should probably be asleep because I have to get up tomorrow like at 4 o'clock in the morning. But I stopped doing them because of just essentially time, and after a while it started getting a little bit boring for me, to be honest. And just the hunting out here is not very good from when I can go hunting. By the time I've gone hunting, when I go hunting, all the stuff's out, and we got a lot of either collectors in my area or scalpers. If it wasn't for my buddy Eric Sarton, who hunts in the area, so I wouldn't have gotten that Omega Red if it wasn't for him. He ended up getting me a lot of the X-Men, the most recent X-Men wave that came out. So I hope that answers that question. Okay, that paint dried a little bit, so let me see if I can. Let me stop yapping. Let me finish painting this, and then I'll go see what you guys are writing up in there. If I don't answer your question, if for whatever reason I just miss it altogether, just put it in the comment of the video, and when I get time, I'll do my best. If you know, especially if it's like a customizing related question that I can help you with, I'll answer it. But it's actually looking. I like a variegated look right there. Some of it's a little bit darker. I don't know if I'm wondering if I'm even gonna do the dry brush on this thing, because I'm really enjoying how this paint is looking. And then once I start putting the white, it's over. I won't be able to reverse it, I don't think. Well, maybe I can, but it'll be hard to with this. And again, did 0 joint prep, so I don't know if that paint's even gonna stay there. It really is a nice looking blue. All right, let's see. Yeah, we got some Brazilians up in the house right here. Yeah, man, do what you can to quit. You can do it. I wonder what, obviously the vaping doesn't smell as bad as the regular smoke, but I think, I don't know if health-wise, I don't know anything about it. Mr. Coots did a Predator out of an MMA figure. That's cool. Let's see. Kyra says he got the SH Luke Jedi. It's a great figure, a real beauty, great engineering and sculpt. I know people were excited about that figure. My Star Wars, I wasn't a huge Star Wars kick this past summer. Those of you that were following the channel, you know about my no Stormtrooper Left Behind campaign that I had going. But as of late, it's been all about the superheroes. The Marvel superheroes has been what I've enjoyed doing the most right now, and I just got to go with the hobby, what I'm feeling in the hobby. That way I can enjoy it. Hey, what's up, Eric Eisner? By the way, Eric Eisner, as I mentioned earlier, 112 shooter. He's actually pretty close to that 1,000 follower on Instagram. So if you're in this chat right now and you're on Instagram and you haven't followed him, if you go and you follow him, make sure you enter the giveaway, because I want to get that figure out of my house already, okay? I want to give it away to you. And the only requirement is that you go join his page. Eric's a good dude, and I've enjoyed hanging out nerd-wise here on Facebook and etc. And so I'm trying to help him out, just like Plastic Addict. George helped me out. He's dropped my name a couple times on his videos and definitely gotten me more attention than I typically would have. And that's what it's all about. Just having fun with other nerds and watching each other's stuff. Oh my gosh, we're big nerds. Look at that. You guys are watching a video right now on a Monday night. And if you weren't watching me, you'd probably be watching Monday Night Raw, because you're a nerd, just like me. By the way, I won that figure on a giveaway that Eric did. I've won a couple giveaways, and so far, the 2 giveaways that I've I've won, I've passed on just because. Now, if I win $1,000, I don't know if I'll be passing that on players, but a figure, why not? Let's see what we got up in here. Yeah, cheap fodder. I'm always looking for cheap fodder. I'm looking for if anybody has the Toy Biz or an extra Toy Biz Craven, the screaming head and then the grimacing face, and you want to make a trade for fodder, by all means, let's do it, because that's on the works too. I just bought a Craven on eBay for 28 bucks, and it hurt me to spend that much money on that figure because I bought it originally for 17, and then I traded it away because I didn't think I was going to do anything with it, and now I want to complete a Sinister Six, and I need that Craven because I wanted that jacket. I don't think anybody's casted it. If somebody casted that jacket, I'm going to be upset. Man, I'm really liking that color, man. I don't know if I'm going to go beyond. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to dry brush white onto this. I'm going to have to sit on it. I think I'm just going to do blue tonight. Let's see. What's up, Nightshade? Yeah, the swap meets around here, I barely find figures. Barely find, it's just not good. Nerds are us. Eric Eisner, you never won anything, huh? Poor guy. I didn't know we were talking about personal relationships now. You can do it, Eric. Someday, bro. I think I can probably paint this faster, but I'm trying to be a good role model here. A good instructor, and follow what I'm preaching here about not having too much paint on the brush. All right, let me give myself a little bit of a back break right here. Craven is he's pretty dope figure for sure. I guess he's not. I'm actually making a Gambit also. He's in the works too. Man, I got so many figures in the works. Partially kit bashed. I also have, like I said, I'm working to do a Sinister Six. See, I could have been just globbing this paint on probably. There we go. That's not a good job. See, I kind of went sideways. Up and down, and then what that's done is it's globbed the paint on the bicep. Because I got a little bit carried away. I got careless. Let's see if I can go over it. Probably help if I stop yapping. So the paint's starting to dry in the cup there, and I can feel it on the brush as I'm putting it on. it's sticking a little bit more than it was. Yeah, hold on a second before I screw that up. Let me rub that down. As long as it's glistening wet like that, I'm good. Getting a little bit of dry tip right there. Typically, the dry tip is more associated with an airbrush, but the paint was getting dried at the tip right there, and it was making it hard to paint. All right, let me take a peek here. Yeah, no, Mega Red. I just bought a couple more. I'm going to use the body. I'm going to use that body and do a saber tooth with that body. I think that would have been a much better choice. It's a little bit larger than the what is that? The Hyperion mold that they use, and it's got the butterfly joints. So that's what I'm going to go for. What's up, Robert? Thanks for joining in. You guys are funny. Yeah, that chrome really does work pretty good. Look at that. I mean, you can see the difference in the two figures. And that surfboard is actually, I had chromed it up, but the paint, I was running out of paint and it dried up, so I had to take it all off. I had to strip the paint. And then this is actually the Spastics chrome, mirror chrome, that after you let it sit, you buff it out. And maybe I'll show it either now or, no, I'll show it in another video. All right, let's see. Yeah, that multiple man's cool. I think you need to have at least 3. Life is good, my friend. Life is very good. Robert, if that question was for me, cool, or maybe that was for plastic. I'm not sure of the context, or maybe not. Yeah, if it's for me, shoot me a PM. That's good. It does. I got plastic says that this paint looks like it dries super fast. I got a fan on top, the ceiling fan going on. I got the air condition in here because it's hot as heck, and the air's kind of dry. It's not moist in my house right now. So I think that's contributing to that. And what I would have typically done, I would have added some Pledge floor shine here, and it would have give a lasting to the paint. But I wanted just to use it like that because I'm not sure actually what it would result in. Let's see who else is up in here. Just giving myself a little bit of a break here. Oh, you are, Robert? Oh man, good for you. I don't think I'll ever give a dio a go. I was watching Tech Chucker do one, and he's actually, I didn't know that he had that talent in him, but he's pretty good at doing dios. Carlos, ¿qué pasó? Thanks, man. Yeah, this surfer. Let me see it. How about I show you a foot for this surfer, so you can see what that. Look how smooth that. I did not brush it on except for that part right there, but that's from the sculpt. Okay, that's not the paint. And for those of you that haven't seen that video and you're interested, go back and see it. I mean, I probably could have done it. I could have been a little bit neater about it, but look at the result. There is absolutely no brush strokes because it's not a brush. It's just that tip right there. And you load it up and you go to town on this thing, and it's supposed to You're not supposed to touch it too much because all that mirror shine will go away. But man, look at that thing. And I'd show you him, but I just touched it up. My wife went and got me. By the way, if you end up doing it yourself, you'll want to get the smaller version. This is the 4mm tip, and this is the 2mm tip. And you know what? You may even want a 1 because there are some places that were hard to find. Or if you're handy with an airbrush, this stuff you can buy like the refill canister. It's more expensive, it's like 20 bucks. But then you can airbrush this sucker on, and it'll probably be even smoother, if I can say. It'll go on smoother. So if you have that ability. I have an airbrush gun. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. A couple more in here, and then I did use the bullseye head. Pull it out one more time because I just love this thing. Love this head, man. This is one of the best heads that Hasbro has given us. There's just something about it. And obviously, you know what I did, and if I look really closely, you could see the bullseye. Sculpting's not my best. All I did was I took a little bit of Procreate putty and a little bit and just started working it around there. I maybe should have used the epoxy sculpt because I'm more familiar with how that feels, but I don't know why I decided to use it. I just went with it. But if you don't look too close, even if you can look close, it's still pretty good. I filled in the missing tooth, and it's about the right size. Things are falling back over here. A second. Oh, what I should have done is, instead of doing that, I should have just brought the other head. So they're about the same size, right? They're about the same size. Just once, obviously, the chin's out. I think the bullseye head is a little bit bigger, but it's gonna work just fine. And I'm most likely gonna, as much as I like this sculpt too, I may just display it with this guy. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. Look at that. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful head. And you really need no customizing experience to use that marker. Just go back and look at the video. Molotov, it's called Molotov Liquid Chrome. And if you go back to the previous video, you'll see me putting it on. It's pretty easy. Yeah, Colossus would look awesome with that paint. Absolutely, Colossus would look awesome. And I'd like to do a Colossus. That's also in the works. I just have to figure out how I'm going to do the shoulder pads, and then I would have to sculpt in the lines. But man, I have a feeling that Hasbro is going to retool that Colossus that we got in the was it the Warlock Wave? Yeah, I think it was Warlock Wave. They're going to retool it, and they're going to make it in the classic version. And then all I would have to do is, if they did that, then I can spruce them up with paint. All right, back to painting, guys. Got a little bit too much paint in the airbrush in the brush here, but it's good. It's okay. Because that will give it like a variegated look. I'd put some music. I would like to actually listen to some music right now, but YouTube may shut me down. So you see what I'm doing here, guys? You could do this. You really can. This does not take, I didn't take any art classes in high school. I wish I would have now. All I've done is I've just watched videos where I can. There's a website called Figure Realm that people do amazing customs. There's also groups on Facebook that people do customs. Some of them, a lot of the guys, if you go and you ask them questions, they'll, like the guy, I mentioned his name on Instagram on the video. I went and I asked him, hey, so did you take the figure apart? I'm referring to Silver Surfer. Did you take him apart? Because I know that's the right thing to do. But he goes, nah, I just painted this sucker on. And his came out good enough for me, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, I'll just partially take mine apart then. And it's turning out to be just fine for my shelf anyway. And that guy was willing to, you know, just share. I'll give you another example. The video that I have the most views on, the Spider-Man, the 6-armed Spider-Man, I saw Doodog had done one, and I saw some pictures on, I think, Instagram, and they were selling that figure for like $11. So I'm like, cool. I already had one, so I bought a couple more. I contacted Doodog and I said, hey man, so I asked him about where he drilled the holes and stuff like that, and he actually put some sketches together for me, took a picture, drew some lines, and he shared that with me. So that's cool. And then I turned it around and I made it a tutorial video. And that thing's got over 100,000 views on my channel. It's the most watched video by a lot on my channel. The one that followed that was my Thanos, which that one's, I think it's got over 20,000. And then the video that comes after that, I think it's like 8,000 or something like that. Not, you know, not a crazy amount of views. But I got that because he shared with me how to do it. And I had the good fortune that for whatever reason, I don't know what about that video got it so popular. If you know, let me know, because I'd like to duplicate it and help Rockonomics out, you know what I'm saying, players? All right, so the outside looks like I've covered everything I need to cover. Now I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll come back and I'll paint the inside. 31 people still up in here. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Shave down whose ears? Are we talking about Colossus, Robert? Yeah, that Select Colossus is pretty nice, man. Pretty nice. I actually thought about buying it and taking the shoulder pads from them, but it looks so nice. Which ears are we talking about? Colossus? I'm guessing it's the Marvel Legends Colossus. Let me see. Nightshade says, do you think the Gladiator cape would look good for a Doctor Strange cape? Which Gladiator are we talking about? Oh, the most recent one. Yeah, I think because that color, it could work. search up beats. Now I know I can get some music from. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can do it here right now. Yeah, I know I'm subscribed to like a royalty-free music on here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Here we go. Audio library. Some of the music's whack, but it's just usually just like music like this, so you can hear. Okay, at least that gives us some background, right? Oh, Bullseye's ears. Oh, shoot. I just noticed that. Darn it. He doesn't have ears. Oh, what a dummy. I'm going to have to redo that now. That's the first. I'm glad you pointed it out, man. Oh, crap. All right. I guess I got a little bit of dremeling and some sculpting to do. I'm glad you said something. All right. I should be able to paint the inside part now. Oh, man. Shoot. Well, Robert and whoever else pointed it out, thank you. I was so in love with that head that I forgot I had to take off the ears. Darn it. Hey, but Norrin Rad had ears, okay? I just found a little cartoon. It's like 4 hours long. A Silver Surfer cartoon. They do Galactus really cool in that one. You guys should go check it out. Matter of fact, I'll post it if I think about it, I'll post it on Facebook. I'll post a link to that YouTube video. It was interesting enough to keep my attention. And you know what they say, simple minds are easily amused. All right, cool. Yeah, finally caught on to the ears, for crying out loud. I wonder what the heck you guys talking about? Well, guess what? Now I know. And knowing is half the battle. All right, let me spread that out. I'm still trying to paint up and down, or just down and up. There we go. And the music shut off. How about I hit autoplay? That would help, right? I'm gonna try to stay in one area, work on one area, get it solid, and then move on to the next area. See if I can stay disciplined. Man, I'm digging this blue. I've used it before, but I don't remember it being so striking. It could be that I'm painting it on this clear plastic and it's just taking the paint just right. feel like I've lost track of time too, guys. Wonder what time it is. Oh, come on, girl. And I kind of like the variegated look that it's given me on some of these. Like some of the paint is heavier on other sides and lighter in others. As soon as I'm done painting this body, I'll be done for the night. I don't know if Iceman has ever appeared with this dark of a color, so that's something else I'm going to have to consider. Even though I really like this blue, I don't know if I've ever seen Iceman look this dark. So that would probably dissuade me from keeping it this color, and maybe I will do the white after all. See what you guys are saying. Because they live in the future. You guys are good. Oh, we're talking about time. 9 o'clock. Okay, it's still early for me, but I am getting up early. Wouldn't it suck if I put on the wrong blue all of a sudden? That would make sure it's the right blue. Thanks, big kid. Appreciate it. You know, I didn't do a Nightshade. I didn't do a tutorial on that because that was one of those things that I just sat down and I'd never done it before. And the result was actually pretty darn good, man. People have asked me to cast that head. It actually turned out really nice. The beard, it actually turned out like if I knew what I was doing. That's what it looks like. It looks like I knew what I was doing. And guess what, players? I did not know what I was doing. But it actually turned out pretty darn good, man. I was happy with the result. Oh. Well, to avoid paint rub on the shoulder balls or the shoulder joints and any of these joints right here, you have to shave them down. I'm thinking that I actually may not have an issue with just this blue. I think the issue is going to come when I start doing the frosty white, because this thing's sticking tight like if I'm airbrushing it on here. And so far I haven't put so much paint, and just as I said that, it kind of got ugly right there. So you want to use a Dremel, and you go back and see, take a look at the Thanos video, because I think I show some of the prep work on that video, on the how to make that Thanos. If you're on here and you haven't subscribed to my channel and this type of stuff interests you, give me a sub, player, and hit the like button for me, just because I've heard other people say that. Hit the like button, because there's going to be one person that's hitting the like button a couple times, the unlike button I should say, every single video. I don't know why people feel the need to troll, but believe it or not, I got a troll or two, who knows. I don't even know what the like and dislike do to the YouTube algorithm. And I think for a channel this small, it wouldn't matter. Maybe for, you know, the bigger channels, it has a consequence. And yes, if your channel is less than 100,000, you're a small channel. Put too much paint right there on the hips. I had too much paint for the way I've been painting this figure for that hip ball or that hip joint. That might be okay though. Excuse me, Iceman. I know you've been that way, player, but that's not my intention. All right, I gotta be careful because I'm starting to feel the tiredness of the day right now. And so far, I'm liking the way that the paint's going on here, and I don't want to screw things up here at the end. So I'm going to be extra careful right now. By the way, I don't know if you guys know, the reason behind this, this number, they have to put that number on. And there was talks in this, at a panel that recently happened, that they were going to possibly move it to the foot, or they had discussed it. And that'd be a better place to put it, right? On the very bottom of the feet. If that's something that by regulations they have to have. I always paint over mine. Let's see what you guys are saying. Robert, I'm doing the giveaway as soon as Eric hits 1,000. He's almost there on Instagram. Dr. Manhattan. Okay, I got to go back because I missed a bunch of comments. Iceman, go back and watch the reason I'm painting this sucker up. Play on Playa. That's what I'm talking about. I like that name. Good choice. He's looking like Dr. Manhattan. Yeah, I think, I guess this could be a paint if somebody ever wanted to do a custom, but you would have to get, I think it's going on like this because it's clear. All right, time to do this side. 38 people in here. I don't know if that's what it is, Raiji, the trolls being figure purists. I think it's something else. Stigma is asking about the paint on Surfer. Pretty good. I don't want to move him from his spot right there because that paint is supposed to dry for a day. I've heard some people say 2 days. But I'm digging it now. Once I start messing around with it, and I don't pose my figures very much. I kind of pose them, leave them there in that pose for a pretty extended period of time. So I'm not a heavy wear. I don't put heavy wear on my figures. So it'll be interesting to see how it responds to how I handle the figure. And from what I've been reading, that type of paint, it'll lose its chrome effect over time the more you manipulate the figure. Some people have suggested wearing cotton gloves when handling the figure. I may do that if once it goes on my shelf, on my custom shelf. I may end up having to do that. The paint here is dry, so this is going to be the last batch I do before I add some more paint. I think. Let me see if I have any more on this side. Yeah, better put some more. You can see how the paint's dried up. For those of you that are joining at different times here and didn't see me do this from the beginning, I typically would put another agent in here to help the paint last longer. But I just wanted this paint by itself because I wasn't sure how the clear was going to respond. I couldn't remember how the clear was going to respond with another, another acrylic in there. So I opted not to do it. and I will be using floor shine at the end. I'm deciding too how I'm gonna seal this figure, because obviously, you know, it's Iceman, so I want him to look frosty. I may end up using Pledge Floor Shine to seal this figure and not, you know, a matte. Or I may choose to put Floor Shine on certain spots to make the figure shine a little bit. Let's see. I think there's some... Not sure if this was a rub spot or not. This may have been a rub spot. I may end up working backwards on this figure too. This was just on a whim. Didn't do any joint prep or anything like that like I would have typically done. And if it starts rubbing off on places and I end up saying, man, this is a figure that I'm gonna be happy with, I'll go back and mess around with it a little bit and then repaint those areas. Not the best way to handle business, but this is just kind of trying to salvage this figure from the condition he was in. And you can still see, look how yellowed that plastic is. Ugh. All right, so this part is dry now, so I could touch it. I probably should have been painting this way. That way the tips get the paint. Again, for you newbies or those of you that have said, man, I want to try my hand at customizing, start with something simple, as adding maybe some highlights to the buckles. You know, get yourself some silver paint and throw it on your figures. It will drastically change the look of your figure just by adding little accents like that. Doesn't take a lot of effort. Go get yourself a small brush. Don't add a lot of paint to the brush, and then have at it. I think it's getting to the point where I need to wet this brush and take some of the paint off of it. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. That was just for dramatic show for you guys. And all I'm doing here is just running, getting some of the, and see, you can see some of the globs of paint that are coming off that had dried on the brush. And then what I may actually even do is, I think what I will do, make sure I'm picking the right paint. Jetta Patrol, what's going on, man? If you guys are into pops, that's the man that you want to go check out. Fortunately, that bug did not hit me. Oh, okay, let me run through the comments before I continue. Thanks, Philip, I appreciate it. Jamie Foxx Electro, oh yeah. This really is a very nice paint. I'm really happy with how it looks. Again, this is going on a clear figure too, so it helps. Big Kid 77 is watching Watchmen, and maybe that's why people are thinking Dr. Manhattan. Peace out, Robert. What's up, Jason? Jason, you do good work, man. And how in the world do you pump out the figures so stinking fast, man? I'm not confusing you with somebody else, am I, Jason? I feel like you've put out like 5 or 6 different customs in the last couple weeks. I missed the spot. Ricardo Rosario, ¿qué pasó, chico? Hold on a second. I gotta check something real quick. Real quick. Still here, fellas. I'm just looking something up real quick. I'm trying to see if Jason's. I'm pretty sure it's his. I think he puts it. Is it the fodder box? There's a page called the fodder box, and I think. Let me see if I can just do a quick because if I can find it, I'll show you some of his customs so you guys can see some other talented people. I know Drew Johnson also is on there. Maybe it was Drew that's been dropping a bunch of figures recently. I think it's Drew. But I know that Jason also does customs on there. I don't know if he's still on here or not. All right, back. Let's finish this bad boy so I can call it a night. Make sure my brush is dry. Good night, Mr. Jetta Patrol. All right, I gotta slow myself up here because I just got really sloppy. See that right there? Real sloppy. Well, I was executing well until I got to this leg. Maybe I should have stopped painting, but I just wanted to finish this whole blue. So I've gotten my paints. I saw some of those questions that came in. I'll show you the paint in a second. I get my paints at local hobby shops. So a comic book in the area that has Citadel paints, and then another one that carries the Vallejo paints, which is the ones that I really like to paint with. I haven't. There's like another paint that's really popular amongst like the Warhammer guys. P3, I think it's P3 something or other. But I have experience painting mostly with Vallejo paints and Citadel paints that are also popular with the Warhammer guys. Oh, so now it looks like I can come back in and paint that. Put a little bit too much in there. So there may be some rub right in this area in here. See right there where it's hitting the shoulder, right in that area. Right there, there's going to be friction. Typically, that's an area that you'd want to shave down. See? Yeah, there's definitely going to be rub there. I think that's it, guys, for now. One coat down. Really like that head sculpt. The paint really brought it out. Most of you guys that have this figure didn't even know that it actually had a good head sculpt, because I didn't. All right, I'm gonna run through the chat, see if you guys have any questions. I'll answer them. And if there's nothing else, I'll be calling it an evening. So I'm going to go all the way up. Looks like Jed, I'm going to start with right underneath Plastic's comment. DC Collectibles is giving us a great Dr. Manhattan. Sweet. Jedi Patrol says he was trying his hand at customs. Oh, I was going to show you the paint. Here's the paint that I'm using. I think I used this paint way back when I did my Apocalypse custom. Jedi Patrol is not in here. I think he already jumped out. So if somebody runs into him, tell him I said yes, that it will rub off the joints if you don't prep them. I'm sure that Walgreens will be getting, I think it's supposed to be the 23rd Raiji. Mr. Coots says, remind Jetta said she was already follows you. Okay. That was a few minutes ago. Yeah, that's Jason. You're right. It was Drew Johnson. I found that. Let me see. Brock, Kyra says, put oil white on it later. Maybe it'll work. Kyrus, what are you referring to? Because I was planning on doing some white dry brushing onto that. Thanks, Mr. Coots. Appreciate it. Nightwalker, peace out. Transformers Optimal. There's a lot of way to prep joints. I recommend just spend some time on my page when you have a minute, and go to the playlist that's called Brock's Customs. I think I have over 50 videos there, and I do talk about prepping joints. Oh, you're talking about putting the oil on that. So I'm planning on doing this on that, dry brushing this dead white on it. Why would you say? I don't have any oil paints. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate the company, and hopefully that will be a motivator for you to try something. As you can see, it's actually pretty darn easy. All right, I think that's it for tonight. Philip, what's going on? Peace.